Hey, here I am once again, just figuring some things out. I thought that I might share with the general populace. You see, I was always a quiet and withdrawn kid growing up. When I got into the 8th grade, when I turned 13, to be more exact, I started doing drugs, and that's when I really started coming out of my shell and talking about all these ideas that I had and asking all these questions that I had. And as I got older and met more people in that crowd, the ideas started expanding as I gained more information and insight, and the questions I had became more in depth with revelations that occurred from these ideas. And that's when I started having problems. That's when people started telling me to be careful about, excuse me, I just had breakfast a little while ago. People just started telling me to be careful about what I was saying, and I started having my problems. Yeah, like I was saying, I got beat up. Mind you, this is all because of ideas and questions, and so I started doing more drugs, and to help alleviate these problems that I was having, and that's when things got carried away and I became a quote-unquote addict. Circumstances of my life notwithstanding, like I was raped by my dad when I was 4, or when they kicked me out of the house when I turned 18 and was thrown into a psychiatric institute because I was so intoxicated, and then I guess they needed to get me off the streets and they didn't want to put me in jail or lock up because there's really no reason to. And the doctor I spoke with put me on medication, Zyprexa, and which I was forced to take, or they were going to shoot into my ass, by the way. All because of ideas and questions. And it didn't help that I found out my friends, or people I thought were my friends, had been bought off to turn me around, steal my ideas, help me be more paranoid and delusional, expand upon my problems, until I became the withdrawn and quiet person that I was again when I was a kid, and nobody wanted to hang out with me because by that point I was just doing drugs so much all the time in large quantities, and I could see, looking back now, that I was a bummer, a fucking leech, because of ideas and questions. The moral of this video is to be very careful with your ideas and questions, because you never know what will happen to you, and you can end up in this fuck-ass program that I'm in, where I'm supposed to be getting help getting back on my feet, and I'm just being spun around and spun around again, and more problems are being generated for me at regular intervals, so that I've been having the idea and feeling lately that I just want to be quiet. I want to shut up so that these problems will stop, and that the harder I keep trying to do things myself, the harder it is to overcome the problems that are generated for me. They've already helped to get an assault and battery tacked on to my record, because of a roommate I was living with in the program. They kept stealing my shit and standing outside of my door at 2 and 3 in the morning, yelling threats at me. And they wouldn't move me, and they kept telling me to be patient. These things take time, and blah, blah, blah. They had to process paperwork, and the cops wouldn't do anything whenever I called them to come over. But the fourth time they came over and wouldn't do anything, I fucking tackled them and hit them, forcing something to happen. And ideas are dangerous. They delineate you from other people, but because of that, you will be ostracized. You stand out when you start thinking differently and generating questions and making people ask questions and want to understand things themselves. Then they'll find somewhere for you to go. They'll make a nice little hole in the ground for you to crawl into. I'm living proof. Don't trust me. Find out for yourself.